Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is Prime League Day. It's Sunday, it's time for IB Prime League. In this video, I'm going to go through the 4 marches that I'm going to be using for this round 3 of the IB Prime League. I'm still remaining Fire with Khan, and as my second, I'm using an Earth Wind hybrid, and the third's going to be a Relo, fourth, a Fake March. So let's dive on in. First of all, the Fire with Khan that simply just reigns supreme, at least for the first half, and I suspect it's gonna be the best with different skills in the second half of Prime League, same as last season. Our Earth Wind hybrid is likewise the very best second team you can have, both because it's simply just an awesome team, but also its synergy with our main march is just absolutely sublime. We have magic based and all the talk passives that we want on our main are, well, not the same as for our second. Only very few of our passives are overlapping. These would be, the resist and the oaken guard, these base passives which are just best on anything. Other than that, we're going in two completely different directions, which just makes for an awesome synergy. To quickly mention our third march, you want to run a third march, but at this stage you don't have violet crystals enough to actually upgrade the passives on them. So what you want to do is run a stacked team anyway, only because you need to blow up relocations. If you park and cancel someone's relocation, it resets their reload. You can move again. Whereas if you actually blow up a building relocation site, the reload of your enemy continues to be on cooldown. So this is an extremely underrated and very powerful tactic for IB Prime League, or well, any IB league. And it requires 3 attacks. Therefore, we're running 3 marches with troops in it. For our fourth, as hinted, it's going to be a Fake March. It's going to be troopless. You're going to want to run 1 troop count in all the spots. Why do we run 1 in everything and not just 1 immortal as well? Well, because then people can figure out it's a Fake March. If we remove Attila, Yoshi, and Merlin here, for instance, and just have Harold left, well, then your enemy's going to see a march coming at them with only shieldmen, and they're going to know this is a fake. But with 1 troop in all the 4 spots, it looks like a genuine march, but you are going to have 0 losses from sending this attack, or well, minimal losses. Maybe you'll lose 1 or 2 troops. And your enemy is going to be scrambling to garrison and defend, because if you're setting a rally, it might as well be your main, right? So, main Fire with Khan. Like I said, it's going to be the same, pretty much the same as we ran last time and the time before. So check out my guide for best round 1 Prime Fire if you want, the in-depth details. For this one, we're just going to do a quick recap of why we would run in Fire and why I do this setup. Basically, the Fire Dragon is very overtuned. Fire Mortals have very powerful ultimate abilities, and because of the nature of IB Prime League, it's a very ultimate centric meta. Also, we have wounds, which just functions to counter the marches that would otherwise counter our fire. You can't run a functional water dragon, you can't run an earth wind hybrid that relies on sustain. Well, toss in wounds and it doesn't really matter. So the nature of IB and why this makes sense. We have low troop count in IB. Check this out. We've got IB Prime League on the left and a standard IK troop, the same kind of thing on the right. You have almost half the troops, 2/3, something like that. Means that our Fire Dragon, which deals pure damage, is overtuned to say the least. And that's what makes Fire and Lightning extremely powerful, especially Fire. It just deals massive damage, massive pure damage, because, well, it's tuned for real fighting, which entails higher troop counts. Same reasoning goes as to why Fire Immortals are powerful. We have some quite buffed up ultimates, Emperor's Wu with 600% damage and a chance to chain off of your enemies. You have big bursty ultimates, which just deals a truckload of damage, and that's what you want to decimate the enemy troop count, which is not that big to begin with. So one ultimate with a high percentage, a high damage instance, it's gonna win the fight. Likewise, this is why we prefer Hippolyta over something like Charles or another alternative, simply because this is an ultimate game. This is not a sustain game. This is about nuking down and controlling the fight, and Flaming Smite is perfect for that. You're reducing the enemy's energy reliably, and if you can run something like Adrenaline, if you do a crit fire build, you want to run DB Burst, something like that. Point is, get as many ultimates off, reduce the enemy energy count as much as you can. Gives you the advantage. Likewise, we've had running fire, I said fire, lightning in the beginning, thinking of dragons, but we want to run fire because we're getting all the crits as well. No other setup but fire can actually run crits reliably in IP Prime League. Our stats are just way too low. Toss in weakness, doesn't really matter. Anything running malice will not be hit by any significant critical hits unless you've got a William buffing. Lastly, the wounds. Running wounds just means that healing doesn't really matter anymore. Check this Xeno. This was Zenobia trying to ensure a sustain of I think it was an Earth-Wind hybrid, but we're blocking 83% of her healing, meaning she's useless, and long sustain counters are no longer a counter to our fire. So that's why we run wounds. Alright, let's dive into the passives. Like I said, we run a main march where we run all the best in slot passives for early game Prime League. These are often blessings as well, which just means extra value for us since we're running fire and get that dragon bonus. Our main march is a magic damage pumper, which means that we have quite the excellent synergy between our first and our second, because our second march is focused on attack speed, sustain, and physical damage. You have close to zero overlap between what you want to run on your fire main and on your Earth-Wind hybrid second. Let's move into the actual skills and the leveling. So this is what I've got prepped for my game tonight. This is what I'm going to be running in my Fire Khan. You'll see that I've gone into maxing Wu's damage. We want to get as much burst from our backline as possible, especially because we're running Khan just for the wounds, right? So we don't really care about his damage. He's going to do pretty okay damage anyway, because he's just strong. But we're running him with assist to ensure that our Wu never fails. Now, we don't want Wu taking some lucky critical hit, destroying all the damage potential. So we're running assist to make sure that don't happen. Other than that, like I said, for Hippo, you want to run energy regen, because we're not running a heavy crit build here. You'll see I have 5 in weakness, and I'm not running chase yet. So we want to run adrenaline rush on Hippolyta, and combine that with a bit of rage blessing, toss all the other major blessings in there, giving us the nice boost in the early game of a fight. Combined with, of course, energy suppression, which you want to level up a bit, just to make sure that you're getting your ultimates off quicker than your opponents. Moving into the second one, we don't have violence enough to start upgrading any meaningful second march, so for now it's going to be a base level 1 setup, which it's not going to perform particularly well yet. It will scale quite a lot in the later parts of IP Prime League, but for now it's still quite excellent at participating in rallies, because it does overperform quite significantly compared to, you don't really expect a straight 1 level passive loadout to do much damage, but well, this will. So this is for my rallies, and the first is going to be used both for rallies but also for just fast single attacks on enemies we know we're going to beat, because not everybody run much as powerful as our fire. Recall back, just quick recap, 3rd March, don't run passives on it, doesn't matter, you're not going to use it, it's going to be wasted troops. If you start sending that in rallies, it's just going to feed honor to your enemy and it's just going to decimate your troop count. So just keep it stacked, use it for reload blocking. If you're not blowing up reloads, just make it into another fake march. Leading to the 4th, this is always going to be your fake march. In the very beginning of an IB Prime, again, you might not want to run fake marches right off the bat because you have too much troop count. Maybe you're taking a couple hits. Well, if you're taking hits, use it as a troop bank. Just load it up, wait for it, push them out later, and use it as a fake march. That's it. This was a pretty short video, not quite as long as some of the others. Oh, we are getting into 10 minutes. But I think that's pretty much as fast and loose as I can do. This is the load up that I'm going to be using. This is what I'm going to be building on for the next couple tries as well. I might move into a weakness chase energy burst fire for next week. So stay tuned for that one. For now, that's all. Best of luck in tonight's IB Prime League battles. If you do run one or both of my setups, do join me and give feedback on it. If you have improvements, if you found some genius enemy that actually has something that's close to or maybe even better, do reach out. I'm always curious for other builds and what other players are doing. As always, please do subscribe to the channel. I consistently release new content here on the IK channel and on the official IK Wiki website. Links are in the description. On these channels you can find guides from everything in IK, from events to talents, passives, finished builds and game mechanics. With that, I'm gonna leave you, and as always, thank you for watching and see you for the next one.